Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Just a Breezy Chat. Today we're going to be turning a light on stigmas. If you're new here, hit that like button, ring that bell for notifications. Also, please subscribe. This is one of my mini podcasts that I do. I have Down the Rabbit Hole, Dark Academia Queen, Sassy Southern Belle, and True Crime Lounge. Y'all, I love me some true crime, y'all. But anyway, today we're going to talk about some stigmas. And what is a stigma, you might wonder? Well, this is when someone sees you in a negative way because of a particular characteristic or attribute. What are some you're probably wondering, what are some types of stigmas? Well, now this is according to Helpline, where I get my research from, but there are seven main types of stigmas those are public, self-perceived label, structural, health practitioner, and associative. And the U.S. Department of Labor breaks stigmas into three categories: social, self, and structural. Um, Now, there's the dimension of stigmas, where according to Pryor and Reader, that the four dimensions of stigmas are self stigma, public stigma, stigma by association, structural stigma, and like many literatures, many arts of literature also identifies multiple dimensions of mental health related stigmas, including self stigma, public stigma, and all that as well. Now, one thing y'all know is um one stigma I want to talk about specifically is child abuse stigmas. And this is when fear, shame, anger. And these are emotions that when they hear about child abuse, they may condemn. People may also think of these emotions with abusers. Now, there's the unwillingness to reach out, and that's the sad part right there, because a study found that 45% of respondents are unlikely to reach out to a victim of childhood sexual abuse, and 38% were unlikely to reach out to a victim of childhood physical abuse. And there's many negative perceptions, like people who experience childhood physical abuse may be seen as less capable of having good friendships or likely to commit criminal offenses, and everything. I look, my childhood was not the easiest, and I was abused. I was also sexually abused as well, and everything. But stigmas can lead to a number of negative outcomes for survivors, including self consciousness, embarrassment, discouragement, feeling judged or criticized, fear of disclosing abuse or seeking help, memory issues, blaming themselves for the situation, viewing themselves as detectives, withdrawing and defective, withdrawing and isolating themselves, having a hard time making friends. Some ways to combat stigma does including awareness and education about sexual abuse, using grounding techniques, recognizing what hurtful reactions is about them and not you, and seeking emotional support from trusted people, talking to someone about what happened, and it will when you feel comfortable. Um, Now, what about the sexual violence stigmas? Well, this can also include threats, coercion, arbitrary deprivation of liberty, and other rights. But it's also economic deprivation, and everything. And this stigma is a social process that can lead to marginalization of labeling the individuals or groups. What about mental health stigmas? Self stigma refers to the negative attributes, including internalized shame, that people are with mental illness may have their own conditions. So why is turning a light on stigma super important? Because here's the thing, and a lot of us grew up in a generation where we didn't talk about it. Like, I remember, like, if you said you were going to go see your therapist or whatever, you were crazy. But it's normal, and I'm a firm believer that therapy is important. And it helps so much. But this is why it's important. We need to educate ourselves. We need to learn about mental illness and substance abuse disorders, and be aware of our own attributes and judgmental thinking. Um, we educate other people, like share the facts and positive attitudes, and challenge myths and stereotypes. You can also respond to negative comments by sharing your experiences. Be conscious of language. Choose your words carefully and remind people that words matter. Talk openly. Have frank, open discussions about mental health and encourage people to talk about their problems. Get involved in the community. Participate in local events, workshops, support groups, and collaborate with community organizations that focus on mental health advocacy. Be kind and empathetic. Trust everyone with dignity and respect, and and show compassion for those with mental illness. Like I do, I suffer from anxiety and depression and everything, and coping is different for everyone. So let's be kind and remember that we need our words matter, and I don't think a lot of people realize that. But seek help when needed. Set an example by others by seeking mental help when you need them. Let's normalize treatment. Be honest with your treatment and encourage equality between physical and mental illness and everything. Um, but I created Turn the Light On, which right now for me is just my online advocacy program, which I eventually want to turn into an in-person advocacy program. But it focuses on letting victims cross that threshold to survivorhood on their own thinking, and I think that's important in everything. But here's the thing: stigmas, we need to turn a light on. We need to not be ashamed to talk about them and everything else. And I want to end this episode with a quote. It says, "Follow the path of unsafe, independent thinkers, expose your ideas to the dangers of controversy, and speak your mind and fear less about the label of crackpot than the stigma of conformity." Everything. But that is it for this episode. Join me next time as I talk about growing up small town as I come from Sweetwater from the small town of Sweetwater, Alabama to Nashville, Tennessee. And how small towns really just took helped me out, honestly. And I'm grateful to be from a small town. But I also want to say, let's turn a light on stigmas. Like, it's very common. We talk about it now. And I think that's important that we continue to talk about it and everything. But I'll see y'all later. Y'all have a great day and a happy new year. Remember, stay safe. Don't drink and drive. Uber, Lyft, Didi, stay home. Just stay safe.